Welcome, friends. Today, we are going to embark on a profound journey of the mind. We are going to look past the dense, heavy veil of the material world and examine the great illusion we so often, and so mistakenly, accept as absolute reality. In the teachings of truth, we learn that the outer world is merely the out-picturing of our inner state, yet we are constantly hypnotized by the physical evidence before us. Have you ever noticed that exact, fleeting second when you first open your eyes in the morning? I want you to truly think about that minuscule instant, fragile as blown glass, right before the crushing weight of the world comes rushing back to claim you. In that fraction of a second, before the gears of the intellect engage, you are entirely free. You have no name, you have no age, no history of failure, no worldly labels, and no physical burdens. There is absolutely no weight upon your soul. You are just a pair of eyes watching the dust dance in a ray of sunlight slipping through the morning blinds. You are pure, unconditioned consciousness floating in the tranquil void of a quiet room. In that beautiful, silent gap, you are resting peacefully in the presence of the I Am, the spark of the divine mind within you, perfectly whole and untouched by the world. But then, almost instantly, the machinery of habit violently clicks into place. The mortal mind, acting like a computer, downloads the heavy files of your earthly identity. You remember what your name is. You remember your grievances, who you miss, what physical ailments you claim to suffer from, what bills are due, and what day of the week it is. The grand stage unfolds around you. Welcome back to the illusion. Welcome back to the manifestation of your own entrenched beliefs. We say this is reality. We accept it all without a second thought. We feel the weight of our cotton clothes settling onto our shoulders. We hear the mechanical, electrical hum of the refrigerator down the hall. We taste the dense, bitter flavor of coffee that has grown cold in a ceramic mug. We step out into the bustling street, and we sign the daily contract of the physical senses without ever bothering to read the fine print. We accept as an absolute, immovable fact the deafening noise of traffic on the avenue, the accidental brush against a stranger's coat smelling of tobacco and rain, the biting cold that cuts across our face on a sharp January morning. We take it all for granted. We are mesmerized by the race consciousness, believing wholeheartedly that the world is out there, solid, independent, threatening, and waiting patiently for us to interact with it. But the truth, that silent and glorious liberator, whispers something far more unsettling to the mortal mind, yet infinitely freeing to the spirit. True science, which is ultimately catching up with true metaphysics, tells us that we touch nothing, ever. Even the physicists of this world understand that the electrons in your fingertips violently and vehemently repel the electrons of the coffee mug, of the hand you shake in greeting, of the very mouth you kiss. Think about what this means for a moment. In reality, you live your entire life floating at a microscopic, subatomic distance from absolutely everything. You are entirely untouched by matter. You have never truly touched anyone or anything in the physical sense. You have only ever felt the fierce, vibrating resistance of the universe pushing you back. An atomic repulsion that your incredible brain translates, out of pure mercy and habit, as a physical caress or a solid object. The physical world is not a solid trap. It is a vibrating field of energy entirely subordinate to mind. And if physics beautifully strips us of the illusion of solid matter, our understanding of the universe robs the mortal mind of time. The no does not truly exist in the physical plane. It is a biological lie, a necessary hallucination of the senses designed to keep us functioning in this three-dimensional experience. It takes a few milliseconds for light to travel from the gray morning sky to your retinas, and a few more milliseconds for the darkness of your skull to decode that electrical signal. By the time you think you are living in the present moment, it has already passed. We are always, biologically speaking, living in the past. We consume the leftovers of the universe. We are simply spectators of a film playing on a slight delay. Look up at the majestic, starry sky on a clear, dark night. What overwhelms you is not the present reality. You are peering into a glowing graveyard. You are looking backward into the vast, unfathomable abyss of time. Some of those brilliant lights that take your breath away belong to stars that have been dead for millions upon millions of years. They exploded, collapsed, and vanished into the void long before the first human walked the earth. But their light keeps traveling tirelessly through the vacuum of space, putting on a magnificent show of something that simply is no more. What a cruel, exact, and perfect metaphor for how we operate in our daily mental lives. Ask yourself today how many things in your daily life, in your current state of consciousness, are simply dead stars. How many ancient beliefs, inherited fears, old grudges, past resentments, or even attachments that have long since burned out, are still emitting light. Their reality has been dead for years, yet you still allow their leftover light to guide your steps in the dark out of sheer habit. You are reacting to the ghosts of the past, treating them as if they have power in your present. It is time to wake up from the physical mirage, recognize the dead stars of your mortal thinking, and step back into the unconditioned power of the I am. Let us move deeper into the nature of this illusion, looking closely at what we call our personal history. Think for a moment of your most vivid memory. Bring to mind that one specific scene you keep safely tucked away, preserved like a perfectly intact photograph, right in the center of your chest. For me, it might be a late August afternoon, too many years ago. I can recall the heavy heat reverberating on the asphalt of a quiet village street. I can hear the rhythmic sound of the cicadas, dense, overwhelming, almost chewable, filling the thick summer air. I can vividly picture an elder loved one, sitting in a wicker chair that creaked gently with every breath, peeling an apple with a tiny, sharp pocket knife. In my mind's eye, I can see the perfect, unbroken spiral the red skin made as it fell lazily onto his corduroy pants. I can even smell the damp, acidic sweetness of the fruit. It feels utterly real. But we must ask ourselves, in the light of truth, is that memory absolute? Is it a factual record of reality? Both modern neuroscience and the ancient spiritual laws of mind warn us of the exact same thing. Every single time we recall a memory, we are not actually retrieving the original event. We are entirely incapable of doing so. Instead, we are merely retrieving the last time we remembered it. It is a copy of a copy of a copy, filtered endlessly through the lens of our current state of consciousness. In the teachings of truth, we understand this through the law of mental equivalence. Your current beliefs dictate what you are capable of perceiving, even in retrospect. With each and every evocation of that cherished memory, the colors subtly shift. The mortal mind, always seeking to justify its current emotional state, invisibly edits the scene. We unknowingly invent a detail here, we erase a shadow there. Perhaps that loved one wasn't wearing those exact pants. Perhaps it wasn't even August. The brain has entirely rewritten the scene so it hurts a little less, or, more insidiously, so it hurts in the exact, specific way our mortal ego needs it to hurt today to justify a current grievance or sorrow. The past is nothing but clay in the hands of our present nostalgia. And yet, here is the paradox of the mortal experience. If I close my eyes right now and summon that August ghost, it ties a knot in my throat that feels far more physical, more crushing, and undeniably truer than the solid ground I stand on. How can something be demonstrably unreal, a mere thought form, if it has the power to make you cry until you run out of breath? Therein lies the exquisite, masterful trap of our human existence. We are the architects locked forever inside the walls of our own mental creation. Thought is the only creative power there is, and the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a physical event and an intensely imagined one. We do not see the world as it is, we see the world entirely as we are. Our physical eyes are not transparent windows letting in the objective light of reality. They are powerful projectors, spitting our inner expectations, fears, and beliefs onto the blank canvas of the universe. And as if this natural, deeply ingrained illusion of the human condition weren't enough of a challenge to our spiritual awakening, we have deliberately built modern labyrinths within the labyrinth. We have created second-hand mirages. We spend our precious, divine days with our necks permanently bent, staring hypnotized into rectangles of black glass emitting cold, blue light. We shed real tears over pixelated, distant tragedies that have no bearing on our immediate spiritual demonstration. We rage indignantly at anonymous ghosts hiding behind fake names in the digital ether. We have tragically begun to measure our innate human worth, our very weight and value in the world, by the number of digital alerts blinking red in the corner of a screen. We foolishly believe we are deeply connected to someone 10,000 kilometers away simply because we can see their face in high definition, while we completely ignore the heavy breathing of the person sleeping half a meter away in our own bed. We have attempted to tame the deep, spiritual loneliness of the race consciousness by wrapping it tightly in the relentless, shallow sound of notifications. We have engineered a digital world that functions precisely like a perfect desert oasis. The water sparkles brilliantly in the sun. It promises absolute salvation. It promises connection. But when you bring it to your parched mouth, it does not quench your thirst. It never will. It only entertains your lips while your soul continues to desperately dry out inside. It is the illusion of the mortal mind elevated to an art form, a complex choreography of shadows that society has mutually agreed to call being informed, being connected, and being alive. But sometimes, by the grace of the divine, the facade cracks. There is a glitch in the system of race consciousness, a sudden tear in the heavy fabric of the world. I call it profound awe, though sometimes it disguises itself in the heavy garments of terror. This rupture happens in moments of the sharpest, most unavoidable pain, or in the presence of the most unbearable, transcendent beauty. It happens when someone you truly love looks you deep in the eyes in total silence, and for one very long, eternal second, the deafening noise of the world simply fades away, and you glimpse the truth behind the curtain. It also happens when you receive news that freezes the blood in your veins, when the phone rings in the dead of night and suddenly the mechanical laws of physics and routine seem to be entirely suspended. In those singular instances of pure impact, the colors in the room turn strange and unfamiliar. Sounds arrive muffled as if you were suddenly submerged underwater, and the whole bustling city, with its frantic rush, its imposing concrete skyscrapers, and its endless piles of bills, suddenly seems to be made of fragile paper. In those profound abysses of human experience, the sheer gravity of life shatters the cheap illusion of the set. You realize, in a flash of spiritual clarity, the extreme fragility of the stage we walk on daily, a stage we falsely believe to be reinforced concrete. You understand then that reality, that solid, immovable certainty we fight for, argue over, and lose sleep over, is nothing more than a tacit agreement. It is merely a fragile pact we all hold together, a collective story we tell each other around the fire, simply so we don't go mad in the face of the universe's incomprehensible immensity.